15 mind-blowing facts about New Zealand, the world's most eccentric country. Travel documentary. What if there's a place where sheep outnumber people? Mornings can start on snowy peaks and end on warm ocean waves, and the first sunrise on Earth quietly breaks the horizon. New Zealand may sound like the edge of the world, but it might just be the beginning of something magical. A land where ancient traditions still breathe, where a tiny village built for a film became something more, and where the ordinary is constantly outshined by the extraordinary. You might think you know what's coming, but behind those rolling green hills lie stories that defy expectations. From a cave that glows without light to a lake hiding something far more powerful beneath. And trust us, this is only the surface. Curious? Let's pull back the curtain. Number 1. New Zealand, the land at the edge of the world. Ever wondered what it feels like to live at the edge of the world? Welcome to New Zealand, a country so remote it's often nicknamed Middle Earth. But trust me, this isn't just a fantasy movie set. It's a jaw-dropping, sheep-filled wonderland. Tucked away in the southwestern Pacific Ocean, New Zealand lies more than 1,200 kilometers, or roughly 750 miles, southeast of Australia. With 2 main islands and several smaller ones, the country spans about 268,680 square kilometers. That makes it the 6th largest island nation in the world. As of April 2025, the population is estimated at around 5,310,695 people. Despite its modest size, New Zealand is rich in diversity and carries a strong Māori cultural heritage, a mix of modern energy and ancient roots. Here's a fun fact. There are still more sheep than people. Approximately 23.3 million sheep roam the country, about 4.4 sheep per person. It's a big drop from the sheep boom of the 1980s, when the ratio was over 20-1, but it's still pretty wild. And the climate? Imagine this. Skiing down snowy mountains in the morning, then surfing ocean waves by the afternoon. Only in New Zealand can your day be that epic. Number 2. Hobbiton, the fairy tale village that's actually real. Have you ever wanted to walk straight into a fantasy book? Well, buckle up, because Hobbiton in Matamata, on New Zealand's North Island, is as close as it gets to a dream brought to life. Originally built as a film set for The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, this magical place features 44 charming hobbit holes, complete with round doors, tiny wooden fences, vegetable gardens, a smoking chimney or two, and even the legendary Green Dragon Inn, where you can grab a real pint of ginger beer just like a hobbit would. Locals, especially the Māori community, often refer to it as the home of little dreams, a phrase that honestly captures the pure, childlike wonder of the place. Even after the cameras stopped rolling, Hobbiton stayed put. In fact, as of 2025, it draws in over 500,000 visitors a year, making it one of New Zealand's top tourist gems. I still remember a solo traveler from Canada I met there, eyes sparkling like a kid on Christmas morning, as she whispered, "This place, it feels like my heart never grew up." That's the magic of Hobbiton. It's not just a set, it's a feeling. A reminder that fantasy doesn't have to end when the movie credits roll. If you could visit just one hobbit hole, what color would its door be? Drop your answer below. I'd go with forest green. How about you? Number 3. New Zealand women, wildly free, quietly powerful. What does real freedom look like? In New Zealand, it might just wear hiking boots, rock a bare face, and paddleboard solo at sunset. Here's a mind-blowing fact for this travel documentary. New Zealand was the first country in the world to grant women the right to vote, back in 1893. While other nations were still arguing over women's roles, Kiwi women were already out there, leading farms, founding movements, and shaping policies. Today, that fearless energy is everywhere, from sheep stations to boardrooms. It's not unusual to meet women who grow their own food, run eco-businesses, or kayak before breakfast. Effortless strength, natural confidence, zero pretense. And they don't wait around. They lead conversations. They ask first. They act first. In 2025, women make up over 49% of the national workforce, with rising influence in politics, science, and sustainability sectors. You'll find them shaping climate law, directing tech labs, or mentoring the next generation. One woman told me, "In New Zealand, we don't need to shout to be heard. We just do the work." Now it's your turn. What does empowerment look like where you live? Is it in laws, in attitudes, or in quiet action? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. Number 4. Chatham Islands, the first place to see the sunrise. Did you know there's a place on Earth that says good morning before anyone else? The Chatham Islands, New Zealand's remote, windswept gems, floating about 800 kilometers east of the mainland. What makes them truly wild isn't just their isolation, but the fact that they live in the future, literally. The Chathams run on Chatham Standard Time, which is Coordinated Universal Time, plus 12 hours and 45 minutes, one of only 3 time zones in the world that offset by 45 minutes. Yeah, not even a full hour. Why? Because New Zealand said, why not? Every New Year's Eve, a handful of adventurous souls fly out here just to be the first people on the planet to see the sun rise. It's not just a flex, it's an emotional, once-in-a-lifetime kind of moment. The island's rugged cliffs, windswept beaches, and rare bird life make the sunrise here feel like nature's VIP premiere. And in 2025, with eco-tourism on the rise, the Chathams are gaining even more global attention for their untouched charm and sustainability efforts. Think solar-powered lodges and indigenous-led tours preserving the unique Moriori culture. So if you're chasing time, this is the edge of the world, where tomorrow begins. Today. Number 5. Kiwi, a unique national symbol. Ever heard of a bird that can't fly, sleeps all day, smells better than it sees, and lays an egg the size of a football? Meet the kiwi, not the fruit, but New Zealand's national treasure. This quirky little creature is unlike any bird you've ever seen. It's nocturnal, about the size of a chicken, and instead of flying through the skies, it wanders the forest floor like a tiny, feathered detective. And get this, the kiwi lays an egg that's 20% of its body weight. Imagine a human giving birth to a 4-year-old toddler. Ouch, right? But kiwis aren't just biologically bizarre, they're cultural icons. Ask any New Zealander, and they'll proudly say, "I'm a kiwi." It's not just about the bird, but about what it represents: resilience, uniqueness, and quiet strength. These little birds mate for life, stick to one partner, and fiercely protect their territory. Kinda romantic, don't you think? In 2025, conservationists report that kiwi populations are slowly rebounding thanks to intensive protection programs and community support. I actually met a local ranger in Rotorua who told me he named a rescued kiwi Moana after his daughter. "She's shy but stubborn, just like the real one," he laughed. Number 6. Meet Hector's dolphin, the world's smallest and rarest dolphin. Ever heard of a dolphin that's smaller than your average teenager? Hector's dolphin, native only to New Zealand's coastal waters, measures just about 4 to 5 feet long. That's around 1.2 to 1.5 meters, and is hands down the smallest dolphin species on the planet. But here's the catch. They're not just tiny, they're in trouble. Conservation groups estimate there are fewer than 7,000 individuals left in the wild, and they're officially classified as endangered. Their biggest threats? Fishing nets, habitat degradation, and noise pollution from boat traffic. What makes them truly special, aside from their size, is their unique rounded dorsal fin, which looks almost like a Mickey Mouse ear. I saw one near Akaroa once, and I swear it was the most magical few seconds of any travel documentary moment I've ever filmed. Just a blur of silver in the waves, and gone. So here's a question for you. If you could help protect just one species in New Zealand, would it be the Hector's dolphin? Let me know in the comments, because sometimes the smallest creatures carry the biggest message, that every life in nature matters. Let's make this simple. Drop a quick, yes, protect Hector's dolphin, in the comments if you think this tiny wonder deserves a future. Number 7. Lake Taupō, the sleeping giant beneath the water. What if I told you New Zealand's largest lake is actually a supervolcano in disguise? Lake Taupō, located right in the center of the North Island, spans about 616 square kilometers. That's bigger than Singapore. But it's what lies beneath the surface that truly stirs the imagination. Roughly 1,800 years ago, a volcanic eruption here was so powerful, it's considered the most violent eruption on Earth in the last 5,000 years. Ancient Chinese records even noted the sky turning red from halfway across the world. Let that sink in. Today, the lake looks peaceful. Crystal clear waters, trout fishing, kayaking, pure bliss. But Taupō remains an active volcanic system, closely monitored by New Zealand's GeoNet. Low-level geothermal activity continues, but there's no sign of imminent eruption. Still, it's humbling to realize this serene lake was once a force of destruction beyond imagination. I remember chatting with a local guide who joked, "Taupō is like a friendly dragon, beautiful, majestic, and probably dreaming in its sleep." Number 8. Waitomo Glowworm Caves. Ever walked into a cave and felt like you just stepped inside the galaxy? To the Waitomo Glowworm Caves, where thousands of glowworms, yep, actual glowing bugs called Arachnocampa luminosa, light up the walls like Mother Nature's own Milky Way. And guess what? These glowworms are only found in New Zealand. Like seriously, what kind of country has magical creatures just chilling in caves? Each year, before the world hit pause in 2020, over 450,000 travelers came just to float silently under this surreal ceiling of stars. That moves. It's romantic, eerie, and wildly mesmerizing. Now here's a fun twist. A couple from Canada actually got engaged inside one of the caverns. The guide turned off all lights, and under the living starlight, he popped the question. Spoiler, she said yes. Who could say no in a place this enchanting? So if you're into sci-fi vibes without leaving Earth, add Waitomo to your bucket list. This isn't just a tourist stop, it's a portal into New Zealand's most eccentric side. Stay curious, explorers. We've got 7 more insane facts about the world's quirkiest country coming up next. Trust me, it only gets weirder from here. Number 9. Rotorua, the geothermal capital and cultural heart of the Maori people. What if I told you there's a place in New Zealand where the ground literally breathes, where steam rises from the soil and mud boils like a witch's cauldron? Rotorua, where the earth puts on a natural spectacle, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This surreal town is home to Waitomo Thermal Wonderland, one of the most colorful geothermal parks on the planet. Picture this: neon green pools, bubbling orange mud, and the champagne pool, so vivid it could be a Pixar render. In the year 2025 alone, more than 600,000 travelers visited to witness this volcanic wonderland firsthand. But Rotorua is more than just steamy sights. It's a sacred center for Maori culture. Villages like Taupō bring ancient stories to life through powerful haka performances, intricate wood carvings, and traditional hangi cuisine, slow-cooked underground with volcanic heat. I'll never forget the goosebumps watching a haka that echoed through the valley. Would you dare to soak in a geothermal spring surrounded by volcanic mist? Tell us in the comments. Rotorua might just change how you see the world. Number 10. Maori culture, the soul of New Zealand. What makes a country truly unforgettable? It's not just landscapes, it's people, stories, and traditions. And in New Zealand, that story begins with the Māori, who make up about 17.1% of the population as of April of the year 2025. Maori culture is woven into the nation's identity like a living thread, from powerful haka war dances to the deeply spiritual hongi, a nose-to-nose greeting that says, "We share the same breath." It's not just a custom, it's a connection. And here's something cool. In Maori tradition, women have the right to propose marriage. That's right. Leap year rules? Maori women were ahead of the game by centuries. Their lifestyle embraces the land. Meals cooked in the earth, known as hangi, healing hot springs, and ancient tattoo art called Taupō, which tells stories on the skin. These aren't just designs. They're identity, ancestry, and pride etched in ink. I'll never forget standing in a village, watching a haka so fierce it felt like thunder. It wasn't a performance, it was heritage coming alive. Number 11. A taste of New Zealand. What if I told you New Zealand's food scene isn't just delicious, it's downright eccentric? Imagine a cuisine where the land, the ocean, and indigenous tradition all blend into one unforgettable bite. Let's start with the stars of the sea. Green-lipped mussels, paua, that's abalone for you seafood lovers, and kina, a native sea urchin that's an acquired taste. But hey, worth bragging rights if you try it. Pair that with a classic roast lamb, and you've got a dish fit for a haka warrior. And for dessert, pavlova, a fluffy meringue treat topped with cream and fresh fruit. Fun fact, both Aussies and Kiwis claim they invented it, but New Zealanders are very confident it's theirs. Thirsty? Grab an L&P. That's lemon and peroa, New Zealand's iconic fizzy drink. It's so beloved, they literally built a 7-meter-tall bottle monument in the town of Peroa. I once met a traveler who called L&P lemonade with a Kiwi soul. And after sipping it under that massive bottle, I couldn't agree more. So after satisfying your taste buds with green-lipped mussels and fizzy L&P, where should your New Zealand adventure take you next? How about a capital city where the wind practically has its own personality? Get ready, because up next, we're heading to Wellington. It's bold, breezy, and just might blow your mind. Literally. Number 12. Wellington, the windiest capital in the world. Ever been somewhere so windy that it feels like the weather is trying to knock you over just for fun? Nicknamed Windy Welly, this city holds the title of the windiest capital on Earth, with an average wind speed of 22.7 miles per hour. That's 36.5 kilometers per hour. And trust me, when the wind howls through the harbor and around the hills, it's not just a breeze, it's a full-on personality. In May of 2025, Wellington faced one of its strongest storms in years, with gusts reaching up to 150 kilometers per hour. Streets turned silent, ferries stopped running, and entire neighborhoods temporarily lost power. Still, locals took it in stride, because here, wind is a way of life. I once saw a guy chase his coffee cup down Cuba Street and cheer when he caught it like a rugby ball. That's peak Wellington energy. So, could you handle living in a place where you need windproof everything? Or would you lean into it, scarf flying like a superhero? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and stay tuned, because this travel documentary is only getting wilder. Number 13. Baldwin Street, the steepest street on Earth. What if your morning walk felt more like climbing a mountain? With a jaw-dropping gradient of 34.8%, Baldwin Street holds the Guinness World Record for the steepest residential street in the world. Though it briefly lost the title in 2019 to a street in Wales, the crown returned to New Zealand in 2020 after official remeasurements settled the score. Kiwis take their slopes seriously. Life here is hilariously unique. Locals park their cars sideways so they don't roll downhill, and some say climbing it every day is better than a gym membership. In fact, fitness influencers from across the globe are now using the street as a natural treadmill challenge. Every year, Baldwin Street hosts a quirky hill climb race, attracting both athletes and costumed daredevils. I once watched a guy dressed as a banana sprint to the top and win. Number 14. Festivals like no other. What happens when fashion walks off the runway and onto the stage of imagination? You get World of Wearable Art, or WOW, New Zealand's most eccentric fashion festival held annually in Wellington. Picture this: models transformed into walking sculptures, draped in LED-lit wings, sea creature armor, or even recycled electronics. It's not just fashion, it's performance art in motion. Now flip the vibe and head north to Auckland, where the Pacifica Festival explodes with color, rhythm, and island pride. Celebrating the heritage of over 10 Pacific Island nations, this annual gathering brings together food stalls, dance groups, and storytelling stages. It attracts around 60,000 visitors every year, making it one of the largest Pacific cultural festivals in the world. I remember watching a Samoan fire dancing crew perform under a full moon at Pacifica. The crowd went silent, except for the drums and gasps of awe. It wasn't just a show, it was ancestral memory lit aflame. So, would you wear a dress made of driftwood? Or join a crowd dancing barefoot in the grass to the beat of island drums? Tell us in the comments. Because in New Zealand, culture doesn't just live, it celebrates loudly. Number 15. What does it cost to live in paradise? So, after falling in love with the landscapes, the culture, and the crazy festivals, you might be thinking, could I actually live here? Let's talk numbers. As of April 2025, the overall cost of living in New Zealand is about 18.9% lower than in the United States, according to Numbeo. That includes rent, groceries, transportation, the whole lifestyle package. Let's break it down. A one-bedroom apartment in a city center, roughly $1,007 per month. Head to the suburbs and you're looking at about $810. Your weekly grocery bill? Expect to spend between $60 to $80, depending on your appetite and whether you're more avocado toast or instant noodles. Public transport is surprisingly affordable, around $2 to $3 per ride or $60 to $90 for a monthly pass. All in, the average monthly cost for one person, rent, food, transport, and extras, lands between $1,300 and $1,600. I met an American expat in Christchurch who said, "Sure, it's not the cheapest place on earth, but for this view outside my window every morning, worth every cent." Would you make the move? Drop your thoughts below. And that wraps up our travel documentary on the 15 most mind-blowing facts about New Zealand, where the wild, the weird, and the wonderful all live under one sky. New Zealand isn't just a destination, it's a pocket-sized world of wonders. From jaw-dropping landscapes and rare wildlife to sacred Māori traditions and some of the friendliest, most laid-back people on Earth, this country is like nowhere else. It's where you can touch the first sunrise on the planet, wander through a real-life hobbit village, or sip an ice-cold L&P soda while the wind of the world's breeziest capital messes up your hair, and you won't even care. If you've been searching for a place that feels both wildly unfamiliar and strangely like home, then New Zealand might just be the beautifully eccentric adventure your soul didn't know it needed. Because sometimes, the craziest corners of the earth are the ones that make you feel the most alive.